Every few years, I like to draw a map of the entire world from memory. Start with a blank sheet of paper and sketch out what I think the world looks like. It's a helpful reminder for me to keep my surroundings in perspective, because we can only see a tiny piece of the world at any given time, and we have to use maps to remember the rest. And every time I draw a map of the world from memory, I do very poorly. Blobby continents, missing countries, forgetting where all the vowels go in Papua New Guinea. But trying to draw a map of the world shows me what places I know well and what places I still need to learn about. I like to talk about maps because wherever I go, people have trouble understanding where I'm from. See, I grew up in the city of apples. Not the Big Apple, not New York City. No, about as far from there as you can get. Alma-Ata, City of Apples, the former capital of the former Soviet Republic of Kazakhstan. Now, many people can never remember seeing Kazakhstan on a map. If you're too embarrassed to ask, it's a real place. Borat didn't make it up. It's that huge country between the Caspian Sea and China. Don't worry, their official tourism slogan is Kazakhstan, the largest country you've never heard of. Now, since I'm only an avatar, you might be wondering, is D.T. Burns ethnically Kazakh? Let me dig into that question. In this game, I may look like a very white, very dorky cartoon, but in actuality, I still look like a very white, very dorky cartoon. My parents are white Americans, my family is all from the US, which is where I was born. But when I was 2, we moved all the way to the other side of the world, to a hectic country just leaving the grip of the former Soviet Union. At that time, the map had been drawn pretty simplistically. Westerners decided that allies of the US and NATO were described as the First World. The allies of the Soviets and the Socialists were the Second World. And any countries that didn't fit into one of those two groups were declared the Third World. 3 worlds in 1 world map. Then countries continued growing and changing, and that map went completely out of date. And that's the problem with maps. Maps are rarely perfect. There's 2 big kinds of problems you can have with maps. Maps with missing information, and maps with out-of-date information. Maps with missing information are like maps from early history. Those first maps were big, empty. Labels like, "Here there be monsters," blanketed in fog, waiting to be discovered. Or kind of like Google Maps in beta. They're fine and helpful until you discover what's not there. Then they're worse than useless. Maps with missing information are how you drive through the same toll booth 3 times in a row. They're how you end up riding your bicycle through someone's wedding reception. Maps with missing information are when you think you're taking a shortcut and you end up wandering waist deep in a swamp for 2 hours. Not that I've done any of these things. Stupid swamp. Issues of missing information are simple problems that can be fixed with simple pieces of information, like a sign that says, "No cycling, wedding in progress." But out-of-date maps are a more complicated problem. We use maps to make things easier so we don't have to think about things, like making it from your bedroom to the bathroom in the middle of the night. Do it long enough and it becomes reflex. But then something changes, and the map you use doesn't reflect the change. Like when you walk to the bathroom in the dark and bruise your shin on an open drawer. You know the map by heart, but the map didn't account for the drawer being open. Something changed, the map never updated. Out-of-date maps are fixed by getting to know your surroundings better. Paying attention to the little things to know what's changing, what's missing. It requires a depth of knowledge. Clearly, I think a lot about maps. I love to travel, to expand my map. To go to cities where I've never been, starting with a blank map and filling in new information everywhere. It's exhilarating, exciting. It's easy to find new things when everything is new. Even when I go for walks at home, I like to find new routes through every block of my neighborhood, filling in the gaps in my maps until I've tried every possible combination and permutation of streets, seen every piece of sidewalk. The longer you keep this up, the more challenging it becomes. Trying to find new things in a familiar place. Filling a blank map is easy. Searching for new discoveries in places you've already been is a whole new level of mastery. And now, I'm standing here, in a virtual map of an imaginary space that can be infinitely customized. This map is not a reference to any physical space. Now the map is a shared experience. It's an agreed-on set of information so that anyone looking at it will imagine the same space. And the reason we're here, why so many people are fans of these islands this year, is because these are the safest spaces available to us. We can't travel to explore distant lands, but we can map out our own little island right here in Animal Crossing. When you start playing this game, it's all about finding missing information, exploring the map, getting across rivers and to the tops of cliffs to find out what the island looks like. And then you settle in, and it's not about exploring and making the big map. It's about getting to know the intricacies of your island, cataloging each fossil and bug and fish, learning how to make new items and accessories. The depth of the world is so much more important. The island can be topographically mapped in a short time, but making it a home and keeping your map up to date is a continual process. After so much time at home, I know my big maps of the world are out of date. It's been months since I've gone more than a few miles from my apartment. So many flights canceled, road trips postponed. My world is very small right now. But that also means I've been able to get to know so much more about my own small map. When you're not able to map outward, all your energy begins mapping inward, whether you mean to or not. So many of us have been stranded in our islands this year. And like it or not, we know our islands better now. Maybe you haven't left home for a while, or your street, or your town, but that doesn't mean you're not exploring a new map. Each of us is mapping out our own little piece of Earth. Think of the place you spent the most time this past year. Close your eyes and imagine it. Every nook and cranny, every detail. Build that map in your mind. If it helps the visualization, put it down on paper. Sure, it could look like a floor plan, where the walls are, where the drawers are, but also include what you know about what it is like to occupy your home. How does it feel to be there? Where in the house can you stand to catch the morning sun on your face? What do the weird rumbles of the pipes sound like? The buzz of the refrigerator? How do you turn the tap to get just the right temperature in your shower? This is your map. This is your world. No one can map this space as well as you can. One of the great joys of this game is bringing people over to your island, sharing the depths of this world you've been building, comparing progress and swapping secrets with other players. If your home is your island, think of what you've done this year that you could share. Maybe it's the sourdough starter you made, or the picture you took of your horrible home haircut. Could be the recipe for the perfect plate of nachos, a new favorite TV show, a proclivity for pottery, or indoor putt-putt golf. And everyone's island grows a different fruit. Even if your takeaway isn't shiny, it's still yours. Maybe all you've gained is the knowledge of what the carpet grain feels like on your face while you cry on the floor in your closet. Maybe it's the butt-shaped dent you've made on your couch cushions. Maybe it's the pile of cardboard boxes from your online shopping sprees. These are still ways you've shaped your map to make it yours. Whatever you found to make your island of isolation more bearable, put that on your map with pride. Because when we come out of this, we'll all need to get our maps up to date, to fill in what has changed in the world around us. The information of what our new world looks like isn't missing. Every person holds a little piece, the expert knowledge of what has changed in their proximity on their island. When we combine our experiences with our friends and neighbors, we'll be able to get our maps up to date, fill in the blanks, and clear out the fog. When the time comes to invite friends back onto our islands, our newfound knowledge will make the next adventure all the more enjoyable.